Okay then. Chuck. Yes, I'm sure. So come on and let's go grab some popcorn and enjoy the book. Thomas. But I don't eat popcorn. How about just corn? Chuck. Okay, you get corn and I will get popcorn. Chuck. Thomas, you think you can pay? I forgot my money at home. Jim Bob. He was raised on a farm in backwoods, Texas. Now Jim Bob loves all his friends and family. Every holiday season they all gather for a great big old feast. And Jim Bob is well known in these parts for his manners and respect for others. Jim Bob is nearly a teenager, and he is a fine Christian young man. He attends to his community Baptist church where he was raised. His father is a great man that taught Jim Bob the joys of helping and being a Christian, and the rewards were well worth more than anything money could buy. He is a top-notch student in his school, and he is a 4-H member, dedicated to volunteering his time. Well, here it is early November. Folks are getting ready for their Thanksgiving cooking festival, one of everybody's all-time favorite season. And believe me, you can definitely see the meaning everybody's favorite season. Well, this year is going to be different than any years that Jim Bob has ever seen. Please follow the Jim Bob stories to keep up with Jim Bob. Characters in Book 1 series. Thomas, the scared turkey. Jim Bob. Mr. Jennings, Jim Bob's dad. Scotty. Gregory. Officer Smith on a horse. Officer Toby in the police car. Dr. Best, M.D. God. Jesus Christ. Dr. Roy Davis, pastor at North Shreve Baptist Church in Shreveport, Louisiana. My wife, Dot Crenshaw. This is a list of every name mentioned in the book. All illustrations are in the public domain. Published by In-House Production and Recording. Written by Chuck Crenshaw. Copyrighted by Chuck Crenshaw. All fictional characters created by Chuck Crenshaw. Manufactured by Create Space. The Fishing Trip. Well, it's Saturday morning. Jim Bob and his friends have been waiting for this weekend, it seemed like forever. But at last, it's finally here. The camping, fishing, and hiking trip that Jim Bob's dad had promised him and his friends. They were super excited to be going on this trip to Camp Dreamland. Jim Bob was up early, packing his bags for the trip. He heard his dad say, "All right, boys, it's nearly 5 a.m. Time to get moving. We've got a long trip ahead of us." "Yes, sir," shouted Scotty, one of Jim Bob's friends. "Don't forget your toothbrush," Jim Bob shouted, "because you can't use mine," laughed Jim Bob. "How far is it to Camp Dreamland, Mr. Jennings?" asked Gregory, the other friend of Jim Bob's. "Oh, I figure about an hour-and-a-half drive," said Mr. Jennings. "So let's get the trusty rusty wagon loaded up," said Mr. Jennings. That's what they called their station wagon automobile, the trusty rusty wagon. It's okay in the country to name your cars. Just don't talk to them. That would definitely look bad. Mr. Jennings shouted, "Off we go!" And sure as time was ticking, they pulled into Camp Dreamland at exactly an hour-and-a-half later. "We are here, boys. Now I can show you how the real pro fishermen fish," laughed Mr. Jennings as he tugged on his collar of his shirt. "Now let's get the bags unloaded while I go check us in." "Yes, sir," said Gregory. "I will get your stuff, Mr. Jennings," said Scotty. "Well, thanks, Scotty," said Mr. Jennings. "We will all get his stuff," said Jim Bob. "Okay, settled," said Scotty. "We will all get his stuff." So the boys got the luggage unloaded, while Mr. Jennings checked them in at Camp Dreamland. Nothing seemed to be more fun than a weekend at a camp with my favorite hangout buddies, thought Jim Bob. So after they unpacked and got their things squared away, Mr. Jennings says, "Who's up to some good breakfast?" They all felt like they could do some serious eating. "Yes, me," said Gregory. "I thought you'd never ask," said Scotty. Jim Bob says, "You don't have to ask me twice." "Well, let's go to the restaurant," said Mr. Jennings. "But we got to be snappy. We are burning daylight."